Okay. Toad, got your mic where you like it?
I mean, yeah. Does it sound good?
I'll get it a little closer. Move it up.
How's that?
Get it closer.
How's that?
Fucking goat roper. How you feeling now, Toad?
How do I feel?
Yeah.
Like I drank too much last night.
Hey, that's right at 12. That's just perfect. You can go back a little bit sometimes, but... God damn it.
Testing my voice. Yeah, I felt like I was a whole lot quieter, but I guess I'm not.
No, you're about the same. You're good. All right. Episode 20. Can you believe that we're on episode 20 already? That crazy.
I can believe that.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Taking up a great much of my time on the weekends.
Hey, you want to bitch about it a little bit more, or?
Maybe later.
You fucking whiner. Gee, many Christmas.
I'm not even going to say that. I'll work that in somewhere later. I saw something the other day that's just so horrible and yet so funny that I feel I need to tell you about it.
All right.
And I just remembered it because of that thing you were playing on your phone there for a minute.
Yeah, I'm going to whip that in. Just right as Box is going into his badass of the week.
You're going to ruin it. I have a really good one this week, and you're going to ruin it with obscene sounds.
That wasn't obscene. All right. You guys ready?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 20 of the Life Short, Live Free podcast. Episode 20, the first episode of 2020. And we are drinking MD 2020. Of course, we left it in these nifty little bags. You know, got to do that. But we figured we'd drink some MD 2020 on the...
Have you already opened that?
I did on this.
Oh, I was going to say, that cap is definitely mangled, man. I don't know if I want to drink that.
No, I had to do a little sampling of it. So, yeah, this is episode 20, the first episode of 2020. And we're drinking MD 2020.
You got to.
It's all sorts of 20s. I'm pretty stoked.
I'm not.
Yeah.
What's in the other bag?
The other is, it's just another flavor. I haven't tried this one yet. This
is that blackberry? That I don't.
No. This is red grape wine.
That's the reason I'm not excited about this at all.
Well, you can try this one, Orange Jubilee.
Maybe if you mix them.
All I know is I got super hammered off of that purple one. No.
Oh, I figured that's why you were so whiny today. Because, yeah, Toad is under the weather. Apparently,
self-inflicted.
Apparently, his vodkas were mixed a little bit too strong last night. But
I honestly don't know if I've ever really drank MD 2020 though. Yeah. I know I've probably tried it, but I don't think I've ever actually drank it.
Well,
yeah.
Now's your chance.
I don't know if I have either. I'm sure
if I did, it was probably in high school.
I think I sampled in high school too.
Probably,
but I don't think I've ever drank very very much of it. But anyway,
it's never too late to start.
It's hard to because it'll give you gut rot like no other.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, we're gonna dive into that here shortly. Obviously, you guys notice we are one member down. Johnson, his grandma passed away, so he's obviously out spending time with family. We're thinking about you, buddy. I miss you. Can't wait till It's been a while since we've had a normal friggin' episode, a normal 4-person debauchery that we usually have. So I'm excited. I'm excited to have all you guys back. Hopefully, next episode, everybody will be back and we'll have a normal episode. But...
No, it's not going to be a normal episode because we're going to be at SHOT.
Gosh.
So at least two more episodes.
So yeah, when you guys hear this in about 4 or 5 days, we'll be heading out to SHOT. So I don't know if we'll be recording. I'm sure we'll do a bunch of recording out there, but I don't know if we'll record a whole episode out there or what. But that'll be a different one. Before I forget, obviously we're hosted by Shyworks, a certified Cerakote applicator. We are the customer preferred applicator in Iowa. So make sure you check us out at shyworks.com as well as facebook.com/shyworks. we can help you out with all your Cerakoting needs. So,
and if you guys are longtime listeners to our podcast, you'll all know by now that Sam has extreme problems with enunciation. Pronouncing words correctly.
What did I say wrong? That
Cerakote.
You said Cerakote.
I corrected myself.
Yeah, you did. You did.
You literally say that word probably 50 times a day. You have to look at all the bottles with the word Cerakote written on it, and you screwed it up.
I screw everything up. That's just how I talk. That's just how I talk.
Oh, your failures make me feel better.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do? So, how was you guys? This is obviously our inaugural. I said that word right. That's
No, you
good.
didn't.
Inaugural.
I said inaugural.
No, you said inaugural.
You guys are such ass fucks.
It's inaugural.
Whatever. So anyway, the first episode of 2020. How was y'all's New Year's Eve? Did you go out?
I didn't do a damn thing.
Tosh and I didn't really either, but it was really cool because her dad had given her $100 gift, like one of those Visa ones you can use wherever. And he said, "This is for you and Seth,"
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "What do you want to do with that?" So she's like, "I don't know. Well, let's go buy some really fancy ass food. And, since we're not going to do anything for New Year's." So we went out, we got like 1.5 pounds of scallops. I got like a pound and a half of like raw Argentinian red shrimp, the jumbos, the huge ones.
Mm-hmm.
Some asparagus and some other stuff. And I cooked all that up for her. And it was super good. And then we just had a nice fire in the fireplace. And I drank half a bottle of vodka and 8 beers. And went to bed.
So you got all pickled.
A little pickled, yeah.
Toad, Box, what about you? What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
You didn't even go out at all?
No.
You didn't hang out with your buddies?
I don't have any buddies, man.
Well, Colin and them over there.
Colin is married with a child, and he also did nothing for New Year's.
Wow, you're boring.
Yeah.
Wait, Colin's got a kid now?
Yeah.
I'll be
He's
damned.
over a year old.
Huh. Shows how much I pay attention.
No,
to shit.
mine wasn't that exciting either. I guess I was out at a house party, and we had a accident call that night, so I got called away, and I made it back to Dusky's by about, I don't know, it was about 11. I just had a few drinks down there and nothing too exciting. Came home after that, but yeah, so it was an event. And actually New Year's to me is just like the weirdest thing, because like you're all in a bar and everybody counts down, and then they start all screaming like they're so excited, and you're like, what
Yeah,
the,
like
what
your
the
favorite
hell's-
team just won the Super Bowl or
you know,
something.
I guess maybe when I was younger it was okay, but now like I'm 34, I'm just like,
Yeah, I couldn't.
seen-
I couldn't give a less of a
I've
shit
seen it
about New
34
Year's.
times. I don't really.
Yeah, and that's like everybody goes out, and like I did, I got kind of, like you said, pickled. I wouldn't say I actually drank half a bottle of vodka, probably a quarter bottle of vodka, but it was enough. I was feeling pretty good by the time I went to bed, and but the thing is, and I'm paying for it today, but the older I get, the less stuff like that. Like I used to get super excited to go out and get hammered with my friends on New Year's, and the older I get, I just, like you said, don't give two shits. So it's like
now you just get excited to get hammered with your friends on the podcast.
I don't know if he gets excited about that.
I don't know.
He bitches about it every time, but yeah, he always has fun. About halfway through, he'll start really downing this 2020.
It's not so bad when we do it on like a Saturday, but when we do it on like a Sunday,
Yeah, I
like
know.
I've got some stuff I wanted to do this afternoon, but here it's almost 4:35 o'clock, and I won't get it done. But
I'm not so sure you would have done it anyways.
You would
I-
have you would have went
state.
home and
it kind of needs to be done, so I have to do it.
you would have went home and done absolutely nothing.
Huh.
Watched your Netflix.
I know how that goes.
episodes.
All the time, like on Saturday after I'm done with work, I'm like, well, all right, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna get so much stuff done, and then I'll go home and I'll sit down and I'll eat and I'll watch a few videos on YouTube. Then I'm like, okay, that I'm not doing anything.
So how about
I'm out of a drink.
Yeah, well, you know what? You know what time it is? It is
Whiskey of the week.
it's whiskey of the week. So how about we do a little bit of that, and then we'll clean out our glasses and use them for the MD.
Clean out our glasses.
Well, you know what I mean.
You need to clean your glasses
I
for
meant-
MD 2020.
I meant empty.
Don't want to spoil it.
Shut up.
Do we need to cleanse our palate too?
So the whiskey of the week is it's nothing spectacular actually. This was one I picked up several weeks ago. Jim Beam Vanilla. It actually, smells pretty. I'm not a fan of Jim Beam typically, but this shit smells pretty good. Hold on here.
I think it's a little unfair though to bring in flavored whiskeys when our top 3 are unflavored, just normal whiskeys.
Well, there's no way this is going to bump out any of the top 3.
Hey, you don't know that.
What if it does?
Bird Dog was a flavored whiskey, and
Yeah, Bird Dog was garbage though.
Well, how do you know this? How do you know this isn't going to be garbage?
I don't know, man.
So, guys, I'm
just
actually,
humor me.
I'm actually extremely excited to.
Don't pass that shit to me.
Well, why don't you pass it down the box? You got to try it at least.
No, I don't.
Oh boy, Toad's
I've been drinking the same beer for about 45 minutes now.
Yeah, since we did our Office Space remake.
Yeah, it's been wasn't so bad this morning. I think I was probably still drunk.
Yeah, he showed up at my house about 10 o'clock. He walks in the door and I'm like, "Hey, buddy, how you feeling?" He's like, "Good, I'm still drunk." And then about an hour or two later, he's like, "Shit, I'm hungover."
Yeah, I had to take a nap on the couch for about half an hour.
Well, it's got a good nose. It tastes like the vanilla.
You mean it smells like? Yeah, it smells exactly like the vanilla bug spray.
That's how you say it, Box. It's got a good nose. That's how classy people talk about how it smells. I'm just kidding. I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about.
You said it tastes like the vanilla bug spray, so I was correcting you.
Oh, well, you know. Why am I the host? I can't talk correct.
Yeah,
I don't talk good. I'm kind of an idiot.
Where are you going, Toad? You got an emergency?
Yeah, I'm out of beer.
Well, let's take a little slug of this and see how it's Wow, interesting.
Tastes like vanilla. Nope, no, thank you. We've got 2 bottles MD 2020.
So it kind of does taste like what I think bug spray would taste like.
That makes it sound really bad.
Basically, Sam just said it tastes like absolute dog shit.
No, it tastes like vanilla to me.
It's not bad. I mean, as far as we've had way worse whiskeys of the week.
No, this is certainly 65 proof.
So it's certainly not horrible. I mean,
where's the cap so I don't dump this all over everything?
It's drinkable.
Yeah, you mean all over me?
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I don't know. I'm gonna rate it out of 5 stars. I'm gonna rate it.
Ooh, with hints of oak. Yeah, that's what I was tasting. I knew I tasted some oak in there.
They all say they have oak,
right?
I'm gonna rate it to 2.4.
That's an interesting rating.
Well,
I think it's pretty good. But
yeah, it's good, but this is something like it's got this. So there's a lot of sugar in it. You can tell there's a lot of sugar in it. It's very sweet. It's not something that I could drink very much of. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I think it's a little bit too sweet. That being said, it's not a bad drinking whiskey by any means. It's just not something that I would seek out. It might be something that you mix with.
What would it go good with? Cream soda? Cream soda, I bet.
Maybe.
I bet that'd be delicious.
Maybe, but then again, you thought that what was that stuff that tastes
rum
like
chata?
Rum chata. You thought rum chata would go good with Captain Crunch.
Everybody thought it would. Wait, then I tried it.
You used rum chata in place of milk?
Yeah. I figured why the hell not? Because everyone was like, this tastes just like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So I was like, I'm going to try it. It was the worst thing. Like it took all of the flavor out of the rum chata. And it just tasted like straight alcohol. It was so bad. Do not recommend doing that.
10 out of 10. Don't do it.
10 out of 10 would not recommend. Did you finish it?
Oh God, no.
So
no.
You just poured it in the disposal?
You didn't soldier on through that?
Well, to be honest, I'm not sure what I did with it. I don't think I finished.
Probably
I know I didn't eat it all.
I think probably still growing under his couch or something like that.
I probably threw it in Colin's yard and called it good.
That was back in your...
Yeah, that was Colin was in his trailer house.
Days?
Yeah, Colin was in his trailer house. I think it was after college. I'm not sure, but I was still in Emmitsburg. Yeah, so it wasn't terribly long after college.
Oh, that trailer. We had some. That was remember when we threw a kegger?
When we had a kegger and like 6 people
showed up. So we were like, well, screw it. We're just gonna finish it. And by God,
we did.
By God, we finished it. But I'm pretty sure me and Box were slugging it out by the end of the night.
Yeah. Screaming at Sam, I smashed the beer pong table.
Yeah, we used to be kind of feisty in our younger days.
Good night.
But like that time you tried to crawl out the back window of my pickup going 65 miles an hour down Highway 20.
We're not going to talk about that.
I was sober. Somebody was hammered in the back seat and thought it was good. He could transition from the back seat to the back of the truck.
I didn't think I could. Somebody was egging me on to.
Ranking was. The box was about ready to knock you out.
Well, anyways.
Good times. He was all down and out because he was chasing some girl around the casino and she wasn't reciprocating.
She absolutely was.
All right, fine. You did hang out with her for like 20 minutes, but then you lost her and you were like a sad little puppy.
Well, it is what it is.
Boy, we got off topic here.
Yeah, we did. What the hell were we talking about?
Yeah, Jim Beam doesn't make the podium.
No.
In my book.
Okay, where would you put it as far as...
I'm going to put it at a solid 1.
You didn't even try it. That's unfair.
You hoser.
I smelled it.
You might actually
here, give it a snort.
You might actually like it, Toad.
Give it a snort. It's not bad.
I'm gonna project.
It doesn't taste. It doesn't taste like whiskey. Come on, like a bird. Jesus Christ!
See, it's not that bad.
That's weird.
Like
really weird.
Why is it weird? Just because you know it's whiskey and it tastes like vanilla?
Yeah. It tastes like cream soda.
They probably bought a bunch of vanilla bug spray. Their normal Jim Beam mixed it half and half and called it good. I don't know. I don't think it's bad.
I don't think it's bad, but I just
gets you hammered and gives you cancer.
Can't
You'll get you
throw
drunk.
a vanilla flavored whiskey on the podium full of
unflavored
whiskeys.
I agree. This was just weird. Johnson's got a better. He's
got two of them. I think
really good whiskeys of the week. But like I said, he's out, so we just had to have one to cover, and this one I had in reserve. So yeah, I suppose I got to finish this, and then so we can get on to the 2020. But
oh yeah, got to cleanse our palate for the 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I'll throw this guy out of here.
That's an easy drink, and like it's easy to drink straight. But I'm not saying I do it very much of it.
No, nope.
I'm not a big fan of booze at this point.
I'm surprised you're drinking that beer. To be honest,
the second one's actually better. I'm kind of enjoying.
So we are gonna move on to the gun issues, the Ruger 5.7 here shortly. But let's get this 2020.
Yeah, who was it posted that they picked one of those up already?
One of my customers
was it? I thought that was Stefan.
Steve. No, it was Steve. Steve Neville.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna try a little bit of this grape shit.
We're not trying it. We're drinking it.
I'm just gonna try a little bit of this grape shit as he pours half the bottle.
It's
in the
wine,
glass.
dude.
Yeah.
Box, you want the orange or the grape?
I'll go with the orange. It looks trashier.
Definitely, it's wasted. That is shit a wasted white girl would be drinking.
A 14-year-old white girl.
Yeah, possibly. So, god damn it, I need to think of a better transition than so.
Yeah, you're terrible.
Anyways,
13% by volume. Wow.
Ruger recently came out with a 5.7 by 28 millimeter gun,
and I will be buying one.
It retails for MSRP is $7.99, so they're going to be around what $600,
probably $650 or so. I would imagine.
I thought
$650.
I thought they were going to be around $8.
Well, that's MSRP.
Oh,
they always go for way cheaper than that. It's a
just as terrible as I remember.
The spec sheet, Ruger's spec sheet on it states impressive ergonomics, including easy trigger reach, 1911 style ambidextrous manual safety, robust slide release and reversible magazine release latch, and it looks very similar. Obviously, there's really one of the only 5.7 handguns out there is the FN.
Yep.
Is there?
I don't know of any others.
There's a couple of rifles chambered in it. I think there was another company that.
There's the
Masterpiece Arms
FS90
made one,
or PS90 or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, Masterpiece Arms made a. I think it was like a Mac 10 or Mac 11 chambered in that 5.7 caliber.
I think it's a cool round, but
yeah, I think
it looks know about the
it looks
usefulness for a guy like me.
The gun actually looks very similar to the FN gun. It's a 4.9 4-inch barrel. It's a cool looking gun, and just like anything else in the firearms industry, when it comes out,
Excuse Toad, you just struggling down some 2020.
Oh God. Oh.
Just like anything else that comes out, you get these hosers that, well, that's stupid, completely pointless, blah blah blah, and just bashing it. But actually, to be completely frank with you, I think it fills a need because everybody and their mom wanted the.
I wouldn't say a need. I would say a want.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but there is that fringe area of people that it will be extremely useful for because it is a high capacity gun. It's got decent ballistics. I mean, it's a gun that you can actually carry, and it's going to do what you need to do. And it also is able to hit. It's a very accurate gun, low recoil. You can hit at extremely long range with it. So,
actually, the effective distance of that is only 50 meters.
I bet it. Well, yeah, but when are you going to be using a handgun that's that you got to shoot farther than that?
No, I know. I'm not saying you probably would, but
my biggest problem with it, like I said, I'm going to buy one because I've wanted a 5.7 forever,
Yeah.
But it's a really shitty round for concealed carry because it'll over penetrate like a bitch. I mean, I read an article on it a while back, and some people do carry them, obviously, but they said that just being what it is, it'll just like zip right through. Which, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I mean, it made sense to me, being that thing's what. Well, I mean, if you look at it, it's just a nasty little fast-moving bullet.
Yeah, but that's just like put a ballistic tip on the end of it. There's so many different options as far as bullets go.
Yeah.
I mean, look at a 17. That's a super fast, tiny little bullet.
Oh, it explodes rabbits too.
Exactly. I mean, it does some damage. So I think there's something to be said for. The thing that just pisses me off is when well, this is dumb. Absolutely no point for it. Stupid. Screw you. The same shit that the guys did when the Glock 22 came, or the Glock 44. The 22 caliber. People have been asking for that shit for years, and it finally comes out, and they're just, well, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard, and just some people are gonna like it, so, and it serves a small purpose at least. I don't think it's completely useless. So
that Mad Dog 2020 is making my face hot.
No, I'm pretty sure it's like 100 degrees in here. It doesn't help that I have long johns and 3 shirts on. So.
I run a little chilly, so I usually keep my office halfway warm.
I don't know. I like my house cold. It stays at 60 freaking degrees about year round.
No, mine's set at 69.
Good Lord. I thought I turned my furnace down cold. I turn on mine to 64 when I go to bed because I like to sleep cold, but 60 all year round? Screw that.
No, mine rolls at 69 or 70 all
no, my house is at 60. This propane sucks.
Yeah, what are you going to do? So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about that gun. I don't know as if I'll ever really buy one, but I could see myself a hell of a lot quicker buying that than I would the freaking FN that comes in at like what, $1,200 bucks.
I would buy a 5.7 carbine because it's a whole lot faster out of a longer barrel than it is out of. I think it'd be a whole lot more useful.
What are your options as far as carbines though?
There was like a company called
FS90 or whatever.
Yeah, the P90 is one of them, but I don't know of any that I would actually want. I think the P90 looks terrible.
It's
I don't know
not
how
fun to try to hold either.
It looks uncomfortable as shit.
If you got big hands and
if there was I think there might actually be 5.7 platform.
There's
AR,
an AR
or AR platform in 5.7.
There was a company called AR-57, I think.
I'm sure.
It was. But like, because when that whole shitstorm in Argentina kicked off, their troops were equipped with those AR-15 style rifles with the top mount P90 mags.
Yeah,
but I think that company went out of business. But I do believe there's other companies that make ARs in 5.7 by 28.
I bet they ain't cheap. I've never seen any.
I'm kind of intrigued by that. I might look into that.
I don't think they were all that bad, to be honest with you.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's I was looking at the ballistics of the 5.7 a few days ago, and out of a 10-inch barrel, they're at like 2,300 feet per second, I think. But out of the 5-inch barrel, it's down to like 12 or 1,300 feet per second.
No.
Yeah.
Not out of...
Yeah.
no.
It depends on the grain of the bullet, but yeah. It's not as fast of a round out of the 5 inches you would think it is.
No, I was watching a review the other day that they were clocking them at like around 2,200 feet per second.
Out of what?
Just
With what grain
just a
bullet?
pistol.
With what grain?
I don't recall.
It must have been. It was probably one of the lighter ones, but with like a 30 grain bullet, I think it was down in the mid thousands.
What's a 9mm shoot at? 13, 1,400 Toad.
I can't say.
9mm.
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Not to
You'd think
disturb you guys.
Guys like us would know that.
Clearly not. This MD 2020 is messing with their brains.
Yeah,
We've had like 3 sips of it.
I feel like I'm
it's
gonna
already
open
making
that
us.
door.
What do you got for us there, Toad?
AR-57 PDW upper. Okay, this is an old article. Anyway, CMMG makes rifles in 5.7 by 28.
Okay. I wonder how expensive they are.
I know. And I was wrong. They're horrible.
I told you. It seems like any fringe case like that is just off the wall stupid expensive.
It is.
Are they rifles, though, or are they pistols?
There.
Oh, it's totally a pistol.
It's got a
14? That's not that bad. I mean...
For the whole freaking AR pistol?
Yeah.
MK57 is what it's called.
Oh, that's not. I mean, for that setup, you can buy that in 223 or 9mm for freaking $500. But
here's a different one.
Interesting.
This is more rifle like for 12.62.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time spending that much money at once. But when I have that much money in both of my ARs.
Oh, I got all my ARs
pretty easily.
But
I built those, so
my rifles I got 1,100. My rifle ARs I got 1,100 in a piece, and that's different when you piece them together, and it's not such a huge chunk of change to bite off. It doesn't seem that bad, but I don't know if I'd ever buy a gun for over $1,000. I don't know if I could stomach that.
I would,
to be honest.
If I had the money, totally would. I'm gonna when I get the money for a
I've
season
done it
shadow
on a
too.
number of occasions.
Yeah, I know. I'm a weird dude like that. I don't have a lot of high dollar guns, and
I made you go to the bank that one day and pick up $1,300 for me so you can go get that gun.
Yeah, does your lady finally know about that?
No.
Tasha, we don't have any.
She
idea.
doesn't listen to the podcast.
We're gonna send this one to her. Be like, you should really listen to this one. It's a good one.
Hey, we don't live together.
I'm going to send a random anonymous link to her from an anonymous text message just to this podcast.
Well, you think you'll find this interesting?
I guess Christmas time I did tell her how much
we got some dirt on your boyfriend.
My carry gun was, and because I bought her that 9mm Taurus as her first firearm, and
you get her a G2C or G2S? See?
Mm-hmm. And she said, "How much was it?" I was like, "Oh, I was on sale. I picked it up for around a little over $200." And she's like, "That's a really good deal." She's like, "How much was your carry gun?" And I carry that Springfield Range Officer Elite Champion pistol, and I was like, "I think it was like $1,200." And she's like, "What?"
Yeah, you're a better man than me. I couldn't drop that much money.
Oh man,
unless it's like one of my dream guns, but
freaking. Demo Ranch the other day had a post that he had bought. It was the New Year's post. He had bought over 100 new guns last year. I was just like, God, man,
the most I ever
give
bought.
me your life.
Well, dude, the guy's got a he. I guarantee he.
He's making so much money.
Well, I guarantee those guns are a write-off because they go on his channel.
Like, so what's the most guns you've ever bought in a year?
I don't own very many guns. I only own like
maybe 2 or 3. I don't know.
I did like 13 one year.
But you're buying and selling a lot though too.
I used to do that, and I don't anymore. I can't remember the last time I actually sold a gun. But the whole thing behind that, I was 24, I had no kids, and I'd gotten hurt.
Still don't have any kids, though.
Yeah, not married, no kids. I have a girlfriend. That's about it. But yeah, I'd gotten hurt, and the insurance company had after I got out of the hospital, they gave me a settlement. But the way they paid it out, I was just getting a check every week until the money was paid out. And Bob Farmer had the shooting shop over here in town, and it was right down the street from my parents' house. I was in there like every afternoon. and he'd call me like, "You got a deal on this rifle, or I got a deal on this handgun." I'm like, all right, stop by and see
He knew
it.
a sucker when he saw one.
Oh yeah, I mean,
He did that with just every single gun that came in. He's like,
And
He called him like 15
new gun,
times a
better
week.
call Toad.
I'd go in there and buy shit all the time, but yeah, I did. That was the most I ever bought. I bought 13 guns, and I probably spent.
I probably own. I don't even
$5,000.
own 13 guns at this point in time in my life. I mean, I got a shitload in my possession, but they're all customer guns. I don't know. I wish I'm just not that like my problem is I'm very. I just don't throw money out very easily. Like at this point in my life, I don't have any problem throwing stupid amounts of money at shit in my business, but as far as personal stuff, I have a hard time just buying toys and shit for myself.
I hear you.
I'm not good at it.
You know,
I wish I was better, but
there's certain times, like certain things I will do that for, where I'll be like, I don't care what it costs, I'm buying it.
Mhm.
But most of the time, like, I'm such a stingy bastard. Like, I'll wait till I have literally like half a roll of toilet paper left to go buy more, you know, or like groceries.
Wow.
And
You're a risky fella.
I know. Actually, by the way, Sam, I need to buy a roll of toilet paper from you before I go home.
well, you probably need to freaking
Do you need to buy something for him too?
inform me
Yeah,
how much you
probably.
freaking use today. We've been at my house all day pretty much.
God, I took a nap here.
Yeah.
Destroyed the bathroom a couple of times.
Have to start paying rent.
I gave him a recliner, a really nice lazy boy.
It's a good shelf. It's about all it's ever used for anymore. It's horrible.
I came over the one day and you were like taking a nap in it.
Yeah, I used to, but it's full of crap right now. So, but one thing that I was actually we were gonna have Tim from RevTech on. He's
I'm gonna keep it in this table.
table
like I said,
sucks.
owns RevTech, but he's big into the training and stuff. So I was kind of stoked to talk to him about this next subject.
I'm actually really, like, no offense to anybody, but I'm glad he didn't come over since I'm hungover today. That would have been a real bad first impression.
Don't act like you won't be hungover next time.
I'm usually not hungover. It's usually you.
Yeah.
No, he's usually drunk again by the time the podcast rolls around.
Yeah.
That's true.
Did
God,
you
Really
see that?
making him sound like a dirtbag here.
People listen to this must just think we're just raging alcoholics.
Oh, yeah.
We're not. We all have full-time jobs. We just like to enjoy our weekends.
Did you see that Al Clark's comment on the?
Yeah, about you being drunk.
He was totally correct at that point.
I wasn't sure. Like Colin asked me that. He was like, "Were you guys all wasted at that point?" And I was like, no.
That's why I was.
I was like, I wasn't, but I don't know about Sam. I guess.
You
I
talking
was-
about the video when James was here?
yeah.
Yeah.
I could tell you were hammered because when you get really drunk, you get kind of giggly,
I was
you-
laughing my ass
but
off.
your motions get slower and you, like bigger, if that makes any sense. So, and you start to use your hands a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, guilty as charged.
It was
So
entertaining.
anyway, we wanted to talk about, and we're a little behind the time since we don't release for a week. We're a little behind, and I'm sure this subject is out the window by now. But that Texas church shooting, we wanted to cover that a little bit because there's several rather important lessons that can be learned from that. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, this fellow walked into a church with a shotgun, and I think he was there for a while. They had their eyes
He
on
was,
him.
yeah.
There was a security team throughout the church, and just like many churches do at this point.
A volunteer security team, not like
And
a
I didn't know
full
that.
blown security.
Right, they're
Yep.
all volunteers.
Just members of the church. And I guess I'd never heard of it before, but I guess there's several churches. A lot of churches do that, have volunteers.
oh, dude,
Yeah,
that's a
there's-
huge thing now.
Yeah,
Like,
I had no idea.
RevTech does security training for churches.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah,
You know why Rank
and not just
Rank
churches,
got
obviously.
his
but-
freaking gun because that's one thing he wants to do is carry at church.
That's
That's
a
a
good idea.
huge thing now, just because I mean it's a soft target.
Well, the other thing is like you go back like it's kind of like how do I say this without sounding like a dumbass? But if you ever read a post on a rant from an atheist on Facebook, they're just so like hateful of something that, you know, if I don't like something, that's fine. I don't freaking like it. I don't get angry at it. But you get people
That's
like,
not totally true, but go on.
yeah.
I'm just
I mean, but
I'm just
like,
throwing it
so like, quick example. I lost one of my best friends in the war to somebody who believes in Allah. I also have a good friend who's a Muslim. So, I mean, if that makes any sense, but that guy at that church in Texas, from what I read, they had helped him out a lot in the past, and he was angry with them.
Mm-hmm.
And he had like his ex-wife said he had delusions and thought he was on oh God, I can't remember. I'm too hungover.
So he had mental issues.
Yeah. Sorry, folks. I'm too hungover to think today. And yeah, I'm hungover at 5 o'clock in the evening. If that gives you any indication how fucking hammered I was last night. But yeah, so I lost my train of thought.
You're really coming off as a stellar guy on this episode.
I know. I really apologize. I just can't.
So
the older I
anyways,
get, the worse they are.
Well, we're gonna go back to the. I understand what you're saying, yeah, Toad, but the lessons that can be learned. He was talking about the guy. They did offer him.
It was money. They wouldn't. They
gave him food and fed him, but he was pissed off that they wouldn't give him money or whatever. So, anyways, he walks into this church, and it was obvious that the guy was there to cause a problem. So everybody was, the security team had their eyes on him, and you could tell the moment he walked in the door that they were watching him. And I couldn't tell from the video, but supposedly when the guy walked in and he brandished his shotgun, one of the first guys he shot was one of the guys that was drawn on him. Is that correct, Boxy?
That's what I've heard. But watching the video,
you don't see the guy draw.
They say this is why you don't carry smaller back, which there's many reasons not to do that. But they say he was drawing. But to me, when he pulls it out, he's not going to present it. It's just like he's pulling it out. So I don't know if it's hard to tell if he actually has a gun. I think there might have been a news article on it that said if he did or not. I'm not sure. I can't remember that. But yeah, supposedly he was drawing on him, but if he wasn't making much of an effort.
Did you see the whole video?
Yeah.
I mean, the shot. I'm turning into Sam. The shot that Jack Wilson is his name, I believe.
Yep.
That was incredible.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, that was an insane shot, and most people don't. They're so like Tasha saw it, and she's like, what the hell did she say? I'm struggling so bad right now, you guys. It's not funny.
Focus. You were absolutely worthless.
You know what? You guys just talk about it. I'm done. I'm done. I need to go home.
Tasha was going to say what?
That it was a hell of a shot.
No, I tried to tell her. I was like, yeah, he made one hell of a shot. And she's like, well, what do you mean? I said, that was on a moving target at a distance of over 15 feet with a handgun.
I think it was about
It was probably 20 yards.
Yeah, 15 yards, sorry. And she's like, oh, okay. Most people, I think, watch all these movies and they see somebody snipe somebody with a pistol.
They think it's just so easy. 100
freaking yards, and they don't realize how hard and how much training that and practice that takes. Mm-hmm. I mean, to be able to do that, he drew from concealment and fired a headshot on a moving target in 6 seconds.
Yep.
That's nuts.
And he had to wait too. I've seen interviews too. He said he was waiting because there was
people in his line of fire.
People in the line of fire.
The other thing I saw, it was an article or a tweet from USA Today, and it was like, Jack Wilson's the kind of man you want in an active shooter situation. But then there was like this deal, they kept going. But it's the other 6 or 5 members of the congregation
that you should be terrified of.
And it's like, not one of those people fired a shot. And they did everything right. They covered the threat, and
that's because that bullshit doesn't happen. And I was on that. There was some guy on a Facebook group the other day says, all these idiots walking around with guns, they got no training, and they think that just randomly shooting people. Where? Show me where that happens. When the does that happen? That all these people, especially mostly the antis, and even somebody's on our side supposedly, keep saying that people, just randomly shooting people all the freaking time. It says when? When does that happen? Show me an example of it, because it don't freaking happen. And if it does happen, guess what? That person is held responsible, and that's the way it is.
Yep.
And when you and that's the other side of walking out of the house with a gun on. You have to take responsibility that if you miss, if you screw up, if you shoot, actually, the person, say you miss and you hit a bystander behind them, you're held responsible for that. You're not just let off the hook and it's said, okay. So people are going to be careful.
And not
when
only
it comes
that,
to that.
but if you do something like that, and God forbid you hit an innocent person, you have to live with that the rest of your life.
Exactly. So it's not, and I think that's a huge thing to take on and to think about when you're walking out of the house strapped with a gun, And then
we had one of our followers one time, I believe he was one of our followers, make fun of us for training, and we film our training videos, but he said something to the effect that we were just a bunch of like needle. What do you say?
Oh no, he wasn't a follower. He was a liberal dick face.
Yeah, he was a cop too. If his
I think so.
And he said
but he was in San Francisco or LA or something like that.
He called us a bunch of needle dicks living out our Red Dawn fantasies, and we got a good chuckle out of it. But it's like,
would you rather that we don't train?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we put
that's
our
what
own
I don't
time,
get. That's
money,
one of the biggest double standards I don't get. They're like, "Why are you training all the time? What are you afraid of?" And then they're like, "You shouldn't carry a gun if you're not training." I don't understand.
Tosh is so excited to learn how to shoot and everything and be safe. And I've taught her a little bit. And the way I teach people to shoot, if they like, even my nieces and nephews, when they came out, I taught them how to shoot. With me, if you're firing a handgun or a semi-auto rifle, you get one bullet to start out with. That's it. I mean, because I don't want any accidents, so I don't care how many times it takes for me to run that through your head. You get one freaking bullet until, I feel like you can handle, a full magazine of ammo. But
I think that's a pretty common practice when it comes to teaching new shooters too.
Yeah, and
one bullet or a bolt action.
Yep. So, and my oldest niece is actually a really good shot. So.
Some dipshit posted the other day on one of the Facebook groups, and it was two. I don't remember what it was. It was like a 12 gauge and some fucking 458 or 454 Kasu. What is that? 450. Well, anyways, one of the
454 Kasul.
Right, big ass gun. He had one in each hand. And so this guy's taking a video, and they're all excited. And, oh, look at my cousin shooting both of these guns. And he shoots him, promptly turns around, and flags the shit out of him. Mm-hmm. Just like blatant, like you're watching the video, like, oh my gosh. And the guy posted this video, all proud because of his cousin was doing this. Mm-hmm. And just the comments were just like, I don't condone giving people shit in Facebook groups, gun groups, very often. But I piled on that bandwagon, and I wasn't just a dick, but I says, when you do crap like this, you just make gun owners look ignorant, stupid, freaking idiots. Because he turned around and just blatantly flagged him. Just was like, what? And he was just talking about how big the guns are, So if there was a inadvertent, he had more than one of each gun accidentally went off. Well, you're going to get shot by that big ass gun. You're probably not going to make it. And it's just like, I jumped on that bet. And that's one of the few times when I'll actually do that. Just like, you're posting online, don't act like a freaking jackass. Well, it drove me nuts.
I have something to say on that matter. Do you remember probably 2013 when you and I posted a rather stupid video onto Facebook?
Oh, the tannerite
and the microwave
door.
Where it about took your head off.
No, because I was shooting, about took your head off, didn't it?
No, I was shooting and it went up and over your head like a freaking rocket.
Yeah.
Remy, I remember Remy, our friend that owns the store we bought it at. He saw the video and he goes, "I don't think I counted off 100 yards between." He said something else. He wasn't angry.
Toad, if your point is we all make poor decisions, yes, you are correct in that, and I will admit to that. But
that's part of learning about firearms on your own without proper instruction.
Which I don't know if any of us actually had. I mean, my dad taught me how to shoot when I was 9.
No, that's a pretty common thing around here.
Picked most of it up on my own, and from there, but.
Yeah, so I don't feel like I was too hard on that guy though for doing that. I mean, it was just like he literally turns around with 2 guns in his hands. And
that's stupid.
It's just like, what? That. And I went back to look at the responses after I did, and that video was definitely deleted. He got so much shit for it, but I almost saved it and reposted it, but I'm sure the guy learned his lesson, but. So there was new Illinois recently went recreational weed is legal, and supposedly they're taxing it at 30%.
Yeah, they
did
did
not 30%.
I think the first day that it was legal, they did something like $3.2 million worth of business, or something like that.
Just stupid,
in one day,
stupid amount, or $3.2 million worth of tax revenue. What was it?
It was in sales.
Well, either way, a lot of freaking money. But the only reason I bring this up, which, you know what, if you want to
smoke a J and get high,
I feel like, I mean, it's a plant. Live your life. Do what the hell you want to do. But the reason I bring this up is because on 4473, there is a place that asks if you are a regular user or an abuser. I can't remember what the exact wording is of drugs. So the problem with this whole legal weed thing is if you go and if you mark on that 4473, if you're, say you have a weed card, you can buy this shit. So if you mark no, you're lying, and that is a felony. If you mark yes, you're no longer allowed to purchase a gun. So the issue becomes, and the interesting part is that the Illinois, the law enforcement, whatever big law enforcement whatever law enforcement is in charge of Illinois, they said that they would not be restricting people that own or that have weed cards from buying firearms. But the problem is, and I posted, and there was quite a few conversations in gun groups, is the state has absolutely nothing to do with that. Because when you go into a gun shop and you fill out a 4473, that doesn't go to the state. That goes to the feds at NCIS or NICS, excuse me. And they're the ones that handle the background checks. So that has absolutely nothing to do with the states. So my conundrum here is, like, I am a freedom-minded person, but at the same time, like, these people that are buying weed and using weeds, if they want to buy a gun, they have to freaking lie, because you can't not lie to the feds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's a double-edged sword. Like, what do you?
I pocket dialed an ATF agent the other day. I didn't mean to. I just popped into my head.
Okay, well, that's super input, super helpful at this point. But Box, do you have any input? You know what I'm saying? Why I brought this up? I think it's an interesting subject. Because I don't feel like as freedom-minded individuals that we should say you're not you can't own a gun if you use a freaking plant. But at the same time, like, you're lying to the feds.
So
you just got put on a list.
I'm probably already on a list. I don't care.
But you understand
civil disobedience. It's we all understand that it's your constitutional right. So it's rather defend yourself with a firearm, or
I'm not advocating for telling the truth on these forums at all. I'm just saying I'm not on one side or the other. I'm just bringing this up because I think it's an interesting quandary. One time I got quandary and conundrum mixed up, and I combined them. It's like for like 10 minutes I couldn't figure out one word or the other.
How did you actually pronounce that?
Conundry?
He has no idea.
Like you had a stroke.
Yes, I was like,
I have the black.
I was like, am I having a stroke? It was horrible. For about 10 minutes, I finally had to Google it and figure out what those two words were.
Oh,
it was horrible.
God. Oh.
But that's the problem that we're faced with currently in the states. There's a lot of states at this point that are accepting that they say, hey, weed is legal. But currently the feds still say that it's not. So you're kind of stuck in the middle, especially if you have an actual a card that says you can buy weed from a state, because I'm sure the feds can access that. And I'm sure if they really, really wanted to, they could go and claim that you're a a liar on your 4473 and prosecute you.
Yeah,
if they wanted to.
It's definitely like a slippery slope. Slippery slope.
Yeah.
But that is one of the things, like, when the states first started to legalize it, I was like, oh God, here we go. You know, 'cause I don't like this stuff. I haven't smoked the electric lettuce since high school, probably.
Electric lettuce.
But the amount of things that are being done with it on the medical side is really interesting.
Huh.
Like, there's some, like, what the hell's the oil from it has been shown to, like, kill cancer cells?
Yes, to a certain extent. I haven't researched it very much to know if it's not total bunk or not, so I don't.
Yeah, it's still up in the air.
I have one customer though that takes the CBD oil.
CBD oil, yeah.
No, I don't think there's any. I think it's just the oil. There isn't any THC in it.
Well, there's a very small trace amount.
And he takes it. He goes, before I started taking that, I was taking 12 pills a day. He said, now I don't take any of them.
It's super for anxiety and
pain management.
Yeah. So it's obvious that there's health benefits to it. So I don't know. I just think it's an interesting conversation because of where we're at as far as gun rights and weed rights, in the States right now. It's I don't know. And I've always been I don't know. I don't know where to go with it. I'm not a weed guy. I'm the farthest thing from a weed guy. Like, the last time I did it was 10, 12 years ago. I sat on my counter for 3 hours and couldn't move, and it wasn't fun.
I would actually pay money to see that. I'm not gonna lie. The way you described it to me that one time, I was just like, God, that had to have been freaking hilarious.
I'm sure it was for anybody watching me, but that's not my thing. And if that's your thing, that's okay. You know,
this grape 2020 is garbage.
Yeah, it's horrible. They're both horrible.
Yeah, it's not that. It's not that great, but
that's why I said
this was a terrible idea I had.
Yeah. This was your idea, but yes, like he's just saying.
I knew it was going to be.
So
bad,
it was Box's idea. He said, "Hey guys, it's 2020. Let's drink some MD 2020." So of course I got 2 bottles of it. I thought about getting 4 for one.
I was just going to go and buy one from Hy-Vee, and then you were like, "Hey, I went and bought some."
I honestly wasn't even sure they still made it.
I couldn't remember if it was like a potent shit or if it was just like a beer or what it was. So I bought 2.
How much did that cost you?
It was like $3 or $4 a piece.
That's like Boone's Farm. It's like $2.50 a bottle.
Yeah, you should have bought.
Usually the cheaper the wine, the better it tastes. But
until it comes to MD 2020,
is not the case.
I don't know. I won a bottle of wine at Tasha's work Christmas party, and I was trying to give it away, and nobody would take it.
Shocker.
I really don't want.
What kind of bottle was it? If you ever have wine, I love wine. I'll drink the shit out. Yeah,
you love wine.
Oh my God, I can't stand it.
You and Johnson should hang out.
Yeah, we do.
Drinking wine?
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Oh, okay.
Last time when we had that fire out at his house, he was handing out wine and stuff, and with the steaks he cooked for us, and he was like, "This stuff goes really great with wine." And you were like, "I don't get it. Wine just isn't for me."
Wait, you guys had steaks out at Johnson's house? When was this?
You were there, dude.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, I was probably hammered.
You're really coming across super on this episode.
Yeah.
Just wait until we get to your segment, and you're just like,
No, don't worry. He's totally unprepared for it, too.
I got it planned up.
Are you prepared this time, Box? Last episode, the entire time.
I spent like 2 hours on my segment, so yeah.
Last episode through the whole segment, Box is just like, yeah, I'm not prepared at all. So he said it like 4 times. I'm like, that's just like the very first episode, like 6 seconds in, you're like really projecting a lot of confidence in you guys.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I'm Irish, Scottish, and Native American. Leave me the f*** alone.
Okay, well, Sam, I'll segue for you. Maybe we should move on.
Yeah, let's get away from this. This is starting to depress me.
So there's a situation going on in the Midwest that I feel is kind of interesting. And there's people that are reporting fleets of drones flying around in northeastern Colorado and Nebraska. They appear in the night sky between 7 and 10 p.m. And the interesting thing is they're not just like typical drones. They say they have about a 6-foot wingspan. And they're flying in...
It's aliens.
They're flying in unison, groups of 6 to 10. So I don't know if they're flying in like a hive.
How do they not find these? I read that article, and
did
I don't
too.
understand. How do you not find those people that are flying them? Follow the freaking drone
Somebody said they were looking
How
for
do
a
you
missing
how do you
nuke.
follow the drones?
with your own drone.
Well, but who has a random ass drone like that are seeing? Because it's just random. They're not in the same place all the time. They're just random places, and random people are reporting them. So who's gonna just like launch up their drone and be like, "Ooh, follow those"? You know what I'm saying? So, but from 7 to 10 the night, they're going in grid-like patterns, 150 to 200 feet in the air, in groups of 6 to 10. So I assume they're just combing this whole area. They're clearly looking for something or scanning something. But I find this type of shit fascinating. Just because it's like, this is like, we're literally to the point where this is like futuristic type shit. There's like, obviously they're still propelled by propellers, obviously, and not like the type of shit you see in RoboCop and all that, those futuristic type movies. But I think this is cool as hell. Whatever it is, maybe it's the Iranians. I don't know. But I think this shit's fascinating. But what do you think they're looking for?
I can just about bet the answer isn't near as fascinating as you think it is. I'll bet it's nothing.
Who invited this Debbie Downer on the podcast?
Yeah, sorry to ruin your fun, but I can just
What
about
is
guarantee
it then?
it's
Because
nothing.
none of the
Somebody
none of the federal agencies know what it is. They says no, it's not us. The FAA doesn't know what it is. The DEA,
aliens.
U.S. Air Force, U.S. Army Forces Command, they don't have any information in this.
It's a group of drone dorks that
With
They're called enthusiasts.
wingspan
Okay.
drones.
sorry, drone enthusiasts. Yeah, they build
That's
a bunch of
big ass drone. And what are they doing at that time frame at night? It's dark.
practicing. I don't know.
They're clearly, but they're
With drones that big, they need to register that shit. So I don't know. They're out just.
They're not registered.
Yeah, I know. So that's maybe why they're out flying around at night. I don't know.
It's aliens.
Yeah, it's probably aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Well, aliens have far more advanced technology than freaking.
What do you
drones
know
and
about
propellers.
aliens?
I don't know. Ask Clements. He'll be over here later. He'll tell you all about aliens. But you guys don't find this interesting in the least bit?
I read an article about it.
Groups of 6 to 10 gridding.
God damn
They're
it,
clearly gridding this area. They're looking for something.
One of the things I read was that they're the areas that they're flying in have a lot of old missile silos, and somebody said they could be looking for like a lost nuke or old radiation or something like that.
But a government agency would know.
Why the
about
hell
them.
would your government tell you that they lost a fucking nuke? They wouldn't.
They just don't lose nukes.
It just
Yeah,
fell
they
off.
have- they have
fell off the
before.
back of a truck.
They
Yep.
have trackers on that shit nowadays.
An old nuke in a silo?
Hmm.
There was a story probably 15 years ago about a guy who found a lost nuclear warhead in a sinkhole pond in Florida. It fell off of a plane
I
doing
heard
training
about that.
missions and was lost for freaking years. No, the government couldn't find it, and he stumbled across it one day while he was like out
It
hiking
was an
or something.
actual nuke,
Yeah.
like Hiroshima type
Yep.
freaking nuke.
So why?
I'm sure they
Reporter
won't.
to U.S. government. Hey, did you guys lose a nuke? No. What about those
Right.
drones flying over Colorado? We don't know who those are.
You're right.
They
You're
freaking
right.
know who those are.
You guys lose a nuke? Nah, it wasn't us, but you're gonna have to give us that nuke.
Nah, it wasn't us, but you might
This
not
was
want to
act-
visit Colorado.
And this was something I was going to put on the board. I got it on the podcast topics, but I didn't put it down. But I'm curious, like, well, Toad, where are you going? I was going to ask you host.
He needs another beer.
This, like, as far as like, did you watch the Jack Ryan on Facebook?
Whole first season
on Amazon. I mean, excuse me.
Yeah, I watched the whole first season. I'm about 3 episodes into the second season.
The second season's awesome. I finished it.
It started to piss me off because I read all the time. I read almost everything Tom Clancy's ever written, except for his Op Center series books,
Yeah.
and that's not how Jack Ryan started out. So,
Yeah. Well, they got to make it interesting for TV. But I'm not gonna give you any spoilers because I finished that. But like, are they down in Venezuela
yeah.
at this point?
Yep.
Basically showing what a shithole socialism is and all that, and I find that hilarious. They do a very good job of if you're thinking about voting for Bernie Sanders, go watch the second season of Jack Ryan, and see what socialism really does.
Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, hell, even Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm. But my question was there's some serious black ops type shit, like rogue, interesting missions that he goes on. But I'm curious, what actually happens as opposed to what the government tells us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? What type of shit what heroic type of shit does some crazy one person go out and do and pull off, and let's say they assassinate a world leader or whatever it is, and come back and then just what do they tell us? Just oh, it was just a boring drone strike or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Do these black op missions actually happen? I'm just curious how much happens as opposed to.
You're getting into some heavy conspiracy theory territory here, Sam.
I know, but it's entertaining.
I've always thought that was interesting, though.
Yeah, and they do happen. I mean, there's been, the Freedom of Information Act. You can look a lot of that stuff up, and but yeah, I think it was more common back in the day. But
when exactly was the day?
Through the Cold War,
I suppose.
But
I've always been fascinated by the Cold War too.
I have too. I mean, it's a miracle we didn't destroy the Earth. Nobody launched a nuke, but
we came pretty close. Yeah. We came extremely.
I saw an article earlier today that apparently the Iranians have been spotted moving ballistic missiles into place.
Yeah, they can try it. I guarantee they'll turn into a freaking parking lot.
They probably aren't the cardboard ones that the North Koreans were moving around.
I forgot about that.
Were they really?
You didn't see that? They had a big old parade to show their power and stuff. And you could see in the pictures that they were all wonky and shit, and there was all sorts of things wrong with them. It was amazing.
Did you ever watch that movie about North Korea?
Yeah,
with,
The Interview.
Yeah.
James Franco and what's his name?
Seth Rogen.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was a good one.
What were you going to say, Toad?
I don't remember.
Well,
moving on.
Yeah, we are moving on. You better.
Professional segue here.
You better, dude, we should rename this podcast the worst segues of all time, because every freaking time we are just freaking horrible.
Take a look, it's in a book, time traveling with Toad.
Nailed it.
God, that's so beautiful.
Maybe we should be singers
so much.
Reading Rainbow, baby.
Yeah, that was
Reading
just terrible.
Rainbow.
We worked hard on that, Toad.
I know you did.
You know how many hours we worked on that?
Not very many on that one, actually.
15
Actually,
minutes.
that one was a doozy.
So, all right. Totally not prepared at all.
God,
maybe
I'm going to fire both of you.
Let's call it that, and let's name the podcast that. Totally unprepared.
It would not be a lie.
On today's segment of Time Anyway, we're going back to
Nailed it.
Going time traveling with Toad. We're going back to 1955, kids. Recently, I'm sure you've all seen it because it's been all over the gun forums, but Colt has started to make their pythons again. And for years, since they quit making these things in 2005, they've been a pretty high demand item. If you find one, they're always expensive.
What do the old ones go for?
I don't know. I didn't look that up.
He's totally unprepared.
I just know they're expensive.
I'm going to ask all sorts of questions that just reveal how unprepared he is.
They originally ran them from 1955 to 2005, and a lot of law enforcement agencies love these things. They're double-action revolvers. They're triggers. They're known for really smooth triggers, tight cylinder fits. They're .357 Magnums, and they got phased out, obviously, when a lot of law enforcement agencies started adopting semi-automatics, 9mm.
Mm-hmm.
But they, like I said, recently they started to, or 2020, they're reintroducing them. And they look cool. I want one. I'm probably going to have to drop the coin.
What are the differences between the old style ones to the new ones? As far as the looks go, much change at all?
Not really, no.
These ones are new.
Yeah, these ones are new.
Like I said, super
totally
excellent.
Unprepared. But anyway, so the new ones are $1,500 MSRP. So I figure right off the bat, these things are actually going to probably start selling for over that. But
MSRP?
Jesus, Sam.
my
calm
freaking
down, buddy.
No more 2020
That
for you.
MD20 is hitting you hard.
No, I got a coat sitting on my.
Yeah.
I got a coat sitting on my chair and it freaking slid.
Yeah, my butt's asleep from the non-cushioned chair I'm in. Yeah, our podcast studio sucks. Hold on.
Lost his train of thought again.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna name this podcast something about Toad. How horrible he's doing this episode.
You guys are
I
so
think you should
mean.
probably name it Totally Unprepared.
Yeah.
Totally.
Toad's totally unprepared.
So they originally came in a 2.5-inch variant, 3-inch variant, 4-inch variant, 6-inch variant, and 8-inch variants. I believe the new ones are going to be offered in
Much
4
like American
and 6.
Men.
Well, I feel bad for that 2.5 and 3.
Right? I know.
Even the 4, the poor bastard. But anyway, if I say anyway one more time, I'll slap myself. The new ones are cool. They're ridiculously expensive.
What made the old one so desirable? I mean, like
They had a
Colt Python,
series.
that was like a cult following gun almost.
Yep, they had a series of them. There was a the hell did they call
Were they
them?
used in movies a lot that made them such a freaking?
It came out around the same time as the Smith & Wesson. Holy crap, Smith & Wesson. What is it? 29.
No idea.
Yeah, Smith & Wesson M29. And that's the 44 Magnum, and
Segue.
anyway, so sorry,
It's
I had to read up on
That's
it.
like a good 10 seconds of silence here. I was just letting him go to see how long he'd go.
The Colt Python was intended for the premium revolver market. Some firearm collectors and writers, such as Jeff Cooper, who anybody who owns a gun should know who Jeff Cooper is. Ian Hogg, Chuck Hawks, Leroy Thompson, Scott Wolver, Renee Schmetz, and Martin Doherty have described the Python as the finest production revolver ever made.
How many? It's a 44 mag. Do they offer these in different calibers?
The Python's a 357. They had a King Cobra, I believe, that was a 44 mag, and I thought there was one other one. Let me see. Python
Just doing mid-episode preparations.
family. Yeah, totally unprepared.
Hang with us, folks. Buffering.
I'm going to take him out back and
Buffering.
shoot him later. Don't worry, guys.
The Anaconda,
Don't want
What's
none unless
another
you got buns, son.
the Colt Anaconda, you racist prick. That's the only thing I can think of. I'm struggling. So they made the Anaconda was in 45 Colt, 44 Magnum, and 44 Special, introduced in 1990. And then I think they had a King Cobra too. So there was 3 of them.
Interesting.
And you know what? On to you, Bosch, because that's all I got.
Nailed it, Toad.
I know, right?
Nailed it.
Sam actually did text me yesterday and told me to get my segment ready. And I was 200 miles away ice fishing on a lake over in
Did you drive or did Bobby drive home?
Bob.
So what were you doing the whole time? Giving him a freaking knobber on the way home or what? Why,
Oh, yeah, Sam, totally. It's my favorite thing to do.
Y'all do you. I don't know, whatever.
Idiot. No, we were shooting shit, and then I took a 20-minute nap because I only got 4 hours of sleep the night before. And then last night I went to the bar for dinner and a beer, and I called Sam, and he didn't want to go with me. And, well, dinner and a beer turned into about 8 23-ounce beers and some vodka. And then I got a ride home. I did the responsible thing. I was going to call you to see if I could sleep on your couch, but somebody there offered to give me a ride home, so I took it.
Well, that's good.
Responsibility.
That is the baddest
Make good choices.
son of a bitch.
I have ever seen ever. Yeah, it's the baddest dude of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the baddest dude of the week, guys.
Who is he? What's his name?
Well,
I want to
his
know.
name is Roy Benavidez. This is kind of a long story here, guys. So,
Benavidez. Huh?
yeah. Buckle up. I've got a long one here for you.
Don't ever say that to me again. I don't ever want to hear those words come out of your mouth.
Buckle up, I've got a long one for you. That was can we save that little sound bite there, please? That was awesome.
Anyways, okay. Here we go. This story begins in 1952 when Roy Benavidez enlists in the Texas Army National Guard. 3 years later, he moved from the National Guard to the Army, where he completed airborne school and joined the 82nd Airborne Division. During his first tour in Vietnam as an advisor in 1965, Roy stepped on a landmine. He was brought back to the States, where doctors at Brooke Army Medical Center told him he would never walk again. Determined to continue serving his country, he walked out of the hospital in July 1966. In January of 68, he returned for a second tour in Vietnam with Detachment B-56, 5th Special Forces Group Airborne. On May 2nd, during prayer services, over the radio he heard a plea for help from a 12-man Special Forces recon team that was pinned down in thick jungle. Wow, I'm killing it. And surrounded by a North Vietnamese Army regiment. 3 choppers had already tried to get to him, but each was driven back by small arms and anti-aircraft fire. He didn't have any orders to go, but he grabbed a medical bag and a knife and jumped on the next chopper anyway. He figured he could find a weapon on the ground once he got there. So he jumps off the chopper about 75 yards away from the recon team. That's as close as they could get. And almost immediately he was shot in the right leg. He quickly got back to his feet, but again was immediately knocked off them, this time by a grenade that ripped his back and neck. Again, he rose and continued running under fire to the 12-man team. 4 of them were dead, and the other 8 were already badly wounded. He began handing out ammo and morphine and calling in airstrikes, and then was hit once again. Bleeding and in pain, he dragged the dead and injured men to the chopper while providing cover fire with a rifle he found on the ground. The chopper moved to recover more bodies, and the enemy fire increased. He started off running again, this time to retrieve classified documents of radio codes and call signals that were still on the body of the dead team leader. As he grabbed the documents, he was shot once more in the stomach and caught even more shrapnel in his back. That still didn't stop him. Returning with the documents, he watched the pilot get killed and the chopper crash to the ground. He began pulling the wounded from the wreckage, calling in more airstrikes, directing fire from helicopter gunships, setting up a perimeter, and rallying the injured soldiers to fight on. Before the second chopper arrived, he was injured several more times. But when the chopper did arrive, he threw another injured soldier over his shoulder. Wow, I can't say those 2 words together. Carrying this wounded soldier, an enemy jumped up and hit him in the face with the butt of his rifle. And both Roy and the injured soldier fell to the ground, where the enemy stabbed both of his arms with his bayonet. Roy
Who stabs her arm? Like what?
Well, and I'm sure that's probably wasn't what he was aiming for. He was just stabbing wildly, right. I'm sure. So somehow he managed to grab the bayonet with his hand, and it gave him enough time to grab his own knife, and he stabs the enemy to death. So finally, he makes it back to the chopper with the last remaining injured man, who was their interpreter. The soldiers inside pulled Roy's battered body aboard, where blood pooled on the floor, then flowed out the bay door. Roy had received 37 separate bullet, shrapnel, and bayonet injuries over the last 6 hours. It was a 20-minute flight back to base, and he held his intestines in his hands the entire trip. I'll end the story in Roy's own words during his Medal of Honor ceremony. We lifted up. The helicopter had over its payload. Blood was running on both sides of the helicopter. When we landed, they locked me in a staging area and started unloading. Started identifying the bodies. They found out I loaded 3 dead enemy soldiers in that helicopter. I didn't want to leave anybody behind. My mission was to recover the classified materials, so if anybody had it, he was on the helicopter. So they left, the 3 enemy soldiers on the side, and because I sort of looked oriental, they thought I was one of them, so they let me lay right next to them, and they were putting us in body bags. And I remember my feet being lifted, and I was inserted into the body bag, and I hear that zipper coming up, and I was like, oh my God, no. My eyes were shut because I had blood all over my face. My eyes and the blood had dried up in my eyelids, and I couldn't talk because my jaws were locked. And I could hear that zipper coming up. And one of my buddies was doing the Mexican hat dance, and he was yelling at the doctor, That's Roy Benavidez. Doctor said, sorry, there's nothing I can do for him. Oh my God, the zipper is just coming up. I was trying to wiggle in my own blood. And finally, I found out later, Jerry Cottingham made that doctor at least to feel my heartbeat. When I felt that hand on my chest, I made the luckiest shot I ever made in my life. I spit in the doctor's face. The doctor said, I think he'll make it. He had won the battle and lived. When told this one-man battle was awesome and extraordinary, Benavidez replied, no, that's duty. I thought that was a pretty awesome story.
That is a bad son of a bitch right there.
Yeah.
That's exactly that is the baddest son of a bitch.
Yeah.
That dude was exactly who he made that for.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, and every time I hear one of his stories, I just I'm just like, obviously sitting here in our little office, and could that freaking compressor go any longer? Good Lord. Sorry about that, guys. The shop compressor kicked on, but always just every time I hear one of those stories, I just sitting here in our office drinking our wine currently, and just feel like such a small individual, you know.
He was. I read his, or a good portion of his. God damn it! Quit hitting that cord. A good portion of his Medal of Honor speech, and it's really fascinating how humble he is, and there's a lot of things he says. I only included the "no, that's duty" part because I wanted to kind of keep it short, but there's a lot of other things he says that show he was just purely for country and the betterment of the country and the children and the women and stuff around here. And apparently his call sign was Tango Mike, which meant that mean Mexican. he was a Mexican guy. But he ended up dying on November 29th of 1998, sorry. So he lived
sounds like a hell of a guy.
Do you guys remember?
Appreciate your service, man.
Do you remember Justin Derby from high school?
Of course. Which one?
Not the Derby brothers, just Justin.
Mm-hmm.
And his dad, what was his dad's name? JR. He was one of the original advisors that they sent over to Vietnam.
Huh.
Yeah, and I think that's what he died of cancer. I think it was Agent Orange related.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he went over in the mid '60s. And like my dad was in Vietnam in the 71, I think. But yeah, he was over there, one of the original advisors.
What did the advisors do? What were they advising?
I think they helped. I never looked into it. And I don't know, but I think it was to help train the South Vietnamese.
Oh right. Yeah.
My uncle was a medic over there. So I mean, like some of the, you know, he's getting a little bit older now. Like I think he's in his 70s. So he's starting to open up a little bit more, and that's a lot. That's a lot of those older boys. You know, they keep it quiet into themselves until they start getting older, and then they'll open up a little bit and
I can't imagine
start telling their stories. But like
just from this story, this guy was just mangled.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I'm sure my uncle Kurt, I'm sure he saw a lot of that shit, you know, and that's
I'm sure
that's I can't imagine being like that's about the worst thing you could possibly be over there, you know, because you're the one looking after all those injured boys. So yeah, and I don't know. Every time, like I said, every time we talk on this segment, I always feel just like so inadequate and tiny.
That's
like you know.
The other cool thing about your Uncle Kurt is he's almost still a medic because he takes the vets. They can't make it. He'll take the vets to the VA appointments and things like that.
He's still heavily involved in looking out for all the vets, and yeah, he's a hell of a dude. I love that guy. But we're gonna switch gears just a little bit and go from pretty much awesome dudes to what a douche. The other side of it. This one is obviously Johnson. Usually He usually handles the What a Douche segments, but this one is man on meth steals truck with a man and a goat inside from a porn video store. It's exactly what
Time out. Say that again. Man
on.
steals truck with a man and a goat inside from a porn store?
Yep, so
While high
he
on
stole
meth.
it. He stole a truck. This guy was high on meth, and he stole a truck that had a man with his
You need
pet,
to put that somewhere else.
had a man with his pet goat inside from a video. They were sitting outside a porn video store.
Oh, so this was like a customer vehicle that he stole.
Yeah, I don't
It
know why
wasn't
that
like
keeps,
that's super annoying. But it makes it sound like there was a porn store selling a truck with a man and a goat inside, or renting it out, or something.
An Oklahoma man who was high on methamphetamine led police on a wild chase across 3 states after he stole a truck. Authorities say Brandon Kirby, 40 years old, he's going places, found the truck parked in front of an adult video store in Carthage, Missouri. Kirby ignored the man sleeping in the passenger seat and his pet goat, which was relaxing in the bed of the truck, and drove away. So this guy was sleeping and with his pet goat, and he jacked the
Sam,
truck.
your mic couldn't be covering any more of your face in the video.
How about
You need to move it down.
right there.
No,
Yeah,
no,
so-
nobody wants to hear that shit.
You sound like McMurray from Letterkenny.
Yeah. So, let's see. Kirby ignored the man sleeping in the passenger seat on his pet goat and drove away. When the passenger woke up, he pistol whipped him and told him to be quiet. After driving roughly 150 miles and crossing into Kansas, Kirby pulled over and kicked the man and then his goat out of the truck. Why wouldn't he do that earlier?
Yeah, right?
Like, well, maybe the meth was wearing off. How long does meth last? Like,
I don't know, Sam. I've never partaken in it.
The victim called 911 and the police contacted OnStar, which remotely slowed the vehicle to 15 miles an hour. No.
What the hell is the point of that? Why wouldn't, if you could...
Why wouldn't
Shut
you just
the-
stop
yeah.
it? I don't know. Despite being forced to drive at such a slow speed, Kirby continued to run from the officers. They then deployed a spike strip, but that didn't stop Kirby. He kept driving till officers forced him off the road. Once the truck was disabled, he tried to flee on foot, but was detained after a brief chase.
How do you fail to stop a vehicle with this that's driving 15 mile an hour with a spike strip?
Well, you could literally...
It's not like you don't have time to move the spike strip. The dude's driving 15 mile an hour.
Yeah, but 15 mile an hour is still like, it's not speedy, but I mean, it's not just like creeping along at least.
It's not that quick.
So I don't know, but I'm just curious, like, meth's a hell of a drug. Like, I don't understand, like, where was he going? Like, did he have a destination in mind? Did he have a reason that he stole the truck, or was it just like, well, I'm on meth, let's steal his freaking truck?
I'll bet it was, I'm on meth, let's steal a truck.
And what kind of, like, there's a truck sitting in a porn parking lot, a porn video parking lot,
Yeah.
with a man and a goat.
Yeah. Why was the goat there?
They didn't really say much about the goat. I feel like the goat should have been a bigger part of this
I'm
story.
interested in that.
Why
side
did he
of the
have a
story.
goat?
What's the dude got a goat for?
Why would the news not interview that dude with the goat?
I don't know.
Meh.
Rude.
That's like, man, that would be huge.
I thought so, but I was rather disappointed in that story that they didn't. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't make more out of the goat. That was pretty awesome, if you ask me. But the things involved in that story, a porn video store, hilarious. A man in a van and a goat. I mean, a man and a van are already funny, but you add a goat into it, and you're
Only
good to
thing
go.
that would make it even better is if that meth head was actually from Florida.
Well, maybe he was. Maybe
He was born in
so.
Florida.
Probably born in Florida. But how long are we at, Box? I can't even.
Almost an hour and a half.
Yeah, we are good. We are good.
No more 2020 for you.
We haven't had that much. Hell, we're only half down on the.
Pretty much both of them.
Yeah, so we've only gone through a whole bottle of MD 2020 between the two of us. That's not too much. But I did want to touch on one other thing. If you're listening to this podcast, obviously we have. Why do I say obviously? Like,
Yeah, I was going
all
to
the
point that
time.
out to you. Not everything's obvious to everyone, man. A lot of people have no idea what's going on.
So we usually record a week in advance. I guess that's why I say obviously all the time. But if you go to Shyworks Facebook page, probably the Life Short Live Free Facebook page will share it. But there's a Deadpool gun. We're trying to get Ryan Reynolds' attention with it. So we'd appreciate it if you go and share that and tag Ryan Reynolds. Maybe message him on Instagram, Twitter, any way that you can possibly get a hold of him. We would appreciate it. We're just trying to. There's a 3-year-old kid that's going in for his fifth surgery. He's got cerebral palsy, and we're trying to help raise a little bit of money for the little guy and his family. So we're trying to get a signed autograph from Ryan Reynolds. If y'all would go and check it out and do your part to share it and help us out a little bit, we'd appreciate it.
A signed autograph?
Or a signed picture.
He's going to sign something and then he's going to sign that?
Yeah. It'll be a little autographs inside the
autograph inception
of the autographs. Yeah. What's up?
The autograph inception. That's some specific calligraphy.
Yeah. But anyways, we'd appreciate it. It's been an interesting episode. Toad has been the Sam on this episode completely.
Totally. Yeah. But it's the first time I've ever been the Sam. Usually it's just Sam, but
usually it's just me. Yeah.
You're usually the hungover one.
No, I'm not usually hungover. I just can't talk most of the time. You were kind of I'm pretty sure there was that one part where you didn't say anything for 10 seconds.
I was trying to read up on the Colt Python, damn it.
It was one of the first episodes. It was one of the first one of the first 3 episodes. Toad was saying something and he stopped. He was thinking. He wasn't reading anything. He was just thinking. And it went on for like almost 10 seconds.
There's a lot of information up here, and sometimes you got to process.
At that point, people are checking their phone. They're like, "Is this thing fucking buffering?
Did my phone die? Is it buffering? What the hell's going on here?" But
yeah, I think my brain's been buffering most of the day.
Yeah, we're totally naming this episode "Toad's Totally Something."
Nailed it.
Yeah.
No, that's what it's going to be. Toad's Totally Something. Anyways, guys.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
you guys are assholes.
Yeah. But damn it, the next podcast is not going to be a normal one either. We're going to be in Vegas, and then the next one after that, I don't know if that'll be normal or not. So
it should be.
Well,
tentatively.
Yeah, maybe if we have we got to have Tim on at some point. So who the hell knows?
All right.
So anyways, thanks for sticking with us, guys. It's been a fun one again as usual. Make sure you check out our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff. Shyworks, Facebook. Box, are you still doing like the ballistic imagery? Facebook?
I don't post much.
No, you don't. But check that out. Box does all our ballistic imagery does all our videography, and if I need cool photos taken, I always go to him. So check his Facebook and Facebook out. But I guess that'll pretty much do it until we talk to you when we're in Vegas. I'm sure we'll go live quite a few times in Vegas, and you guys can watch the debauchery. It's called Shot Show, but we're probably going to call it Shit Show.
Yeah, and I'm going to turn 33 while we're out there. Well, no, actually,
a couple days after we get back. We're going to celebrate your birthday out there.
We better do that the last night.
Yeah, we fly out on a Saturday. I think Friday night we'll celebrate your birthday and call her good. See if we can get you some hookers and stuff out there.
Well, I do not think my girlfriend would appreciate that.
Well, you said she don't listen to the podcast, right? We're all good.
But I would know.
I would know.
I'm just kidding.
My conscience would not like that at all.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out, sticking with us. We appreciate you. I guess until we talk to you when we are in Vegas, remember, life's short, live free. God bless you, and we love you all. Good night.
I gotta piss like a racehorse.
I do have to